Perfect. So this is gonna be the start of a series that we call Range Sessions with Marc. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go through my normal warm-up and routine and kind of just talk through what I'm thinking and feeling as I do that. This is something that obviously I'm stuck in my own head when I'm hitting golf balls, and I think a lot and I talk a lot in my own mind, but it's obviously not out loud. So I'm gonna try and kind of journalize that journey here. And so generally when I warm up, the first club I use is my 60. I haven't hit any balls. The first thing I'm gonna do is kind of just see how I feel. I mean, that's a lot of what golf is you have to be able to kind of manage how you feel and what you're trying to do that day. So right now, I feel okay. I feel my hips are a little bit stiff, so that means my turn through the golf ball is probably not gonna be as consistent, or I'm probably gonna have to focus on it a little bit as I do my warm up. But basically these first few shots are just to feel the ground. Try and get an idea of what I'm feeling this day, kind of what I'm hitting it. I'm not really worried about numbers at this point or anything like that. I'm just worried about contact, hit the center of the face, get the body moving a little bit. But again, not putting too much stock in this, just trying to take it like kind of halfway back and get the body moving. That should go a little bit further. That's like my 70 or so yard shot. Okay, good. So there's another thing to look at. That felt like 70 to me, and it was 75. So there's another thing today. It's like, hey, maybe I'm hitting a little further than I feel like. Hit one more, try and hit that 70 number again. Should be pretty close to that 70, 75. Good, 73. So I'll take that. Again, as I start to get into the round, obviously these numbers become more, they matter more, and a couple yards here and there is obviously gonna make more of a difference. But realistically, I'm not feeling enough right now yet, just early in this session, to really be able to kind of change that. I'm just trying to get close. So hit almost a full one here. So generally I hit like maybe 10 to 15, 20 to 30, 40 yarders, and then I start hitting them closer to full. Generally I don't hit my 60 full all the time, or all like 100%, but I hit it about 85 like that one. So, and for me, I know that that's about 90 yards. So we're gonna hit one more like that. So now I'm just gonna switch clubs. I'm gonna go to my gap wedge here. Again, this club, just a warm-up club for me. I do hit it a lot on the golf course because I hit it anywhere between like 105 and 135, depending on what the situation is. If I'm in the rough, I use this a lot from a little bit further because I can hit it really high, which is nice. So I can get it to stop out of the rough onto a tight little flag. But you'll see like ball position with this club changes for me a little bit. I put it a little further back generally as I hit these first ones because I try and hit like more of a low draw. So I take distance off this thing. When I play it more like a full shot, more like a pitching wedge, that's when I hit it closer to 120, 125. But I'm just gonna hit a couple here from the back of my stance. So I'm feeling like, okay, that drives in a lot lower. That's a shot for me, there you go. So a little less spin, a little less stopping power on that shot, so it's more of like a chasing shot, which for me is always fun. I like hitting that to back flags, something that I don't want to fly like a sand wedge all the way to. So hit a couple more here. That was very flush. Should fall left, perfect, good. So I kind of go up the ladder, as I call it here, so I try and hit each one a little bit harder. If I didn't feel super comfortable with the one before that, I'll hit it again, just to try and get that feel correlated with what I'm actually feeling that day. So that should chase out a little bit further. Good, feels are getting better. Starting to develop some feel at least. My hands are starting to warm up, my toes are starting to loosen up a little bit here. Okay, so I'm gonna hit one now full, so you'll see my ball position change a little bit. So it goes more forwards. This is kind of the shot I only ever really hit to the rough. So see, launch is higher, carry's gonna be more, so there's 121 or so carry. Still spins a fair amount, but it doesn't roll out at all. There's no bounce, it just lands and stops. So two different ways to get it done. So I can either hit the low one that goes like and chases out, or hit the one that kind of carries all the way there. So that's about what I do with my gap wedge. Maybe hit a couple more if I'm playing a tournament today, but nothing crazy. Just trying, again, like I said, get warmed up, get some feel. So I hit one or two pitching wedges, just kind of in my routine here. that was pretty decent. And again, just to get an idea of what I'm hitting it today, distance-wise, that's what I expect. I'm a little more shallow today than I am, or used to, so that means my back is tighter than I think. Means I'm kind of staying back, I'm not getting through it. So I'm gonna make one more really kind of like thoughtful swing here at getting my weight through it. See what that feels like today. Much better. So see, ball speed goes up a little bit, there we go. So attack angle down, pass stayed the same, curved it very similarly, just got a little bit more on it. So I'm gonna focus on that today if I were to go play. So now I'm just gonna move into a 7-iron. I generally don't hit every iron in my bag. I think even if I was practicing, I probably wouldn't do that either. But as a warm-up, I generally skip a couple. I hit most of my wedges, but most of the time I skip a couple irons at least. I might hit 7 and then 5-iron or 4-iron, depending on what I'm working on. All right. Okay, good. So I felt the toe turn over a little bit there. Okay, so not bad. So again, feels are getting better, but I am pretty shallow today. Something that I've dealt with in the past when I'm stiff, and I think like this is when I would do a little bit more hip stretching and things like that, hip openers on the range, because I know I can feel that. There's not a lot of turf interaction. I'd like to be a little bit more. But again, would I take that on a golf course? 100%. That was solid. Good. So that felt like a little bit of a fade. So I'm gonna hit one more here. Try and hit a little bit more of a straight ball here. Good. Good. Perfect. So now this is when I probably hit. I guess I'm in charge of my own warm up here, but this is when I hit 4-iron or 5-iron, like I was saying earlier. I hit it once or twice just to see what that feels like. The reason I hit my 4-iron is because it's different than the rest of my club. So TC 201 Mira versus MB 101. So it's got a bit more offset, a little bit more top line thickness to it, but it's a club I hit a lot into par 5s, also off the tee if it's necessary. So let's try one here. I normally draw it as well. I felt solid, might be pretty straight. Yeah, so that's kind of what it felt like. So I generally set up to draw this thing. And normally on the golf course it does draw. I'm happy to from 240 to miss it a little bit right, if that's what my intention is, but I'll show you one more where I get it to turn over a little bit. Felt very similar. And it's the exact same shot. So this is where I'm actually happy seeing that, because the last 3 times I've played, I've missed this left. So it has to do, clearly like my swing's a little bit off today because I'm again very, very shallow with all these golf shots. Hitting them all really solid. Like those all feel really good. Again, I hit that 240, but I'm gonna try and just make a little bit of an adjustment here. Good. So that definitely felt different. There we go. Good. So that's where it's nice to have a little range session here just to kind of go through my thoughts and my feels, and even talking out loud, it helps me too. I think it's a good thing that a lot of people don't really do, is think about what they're doing while they do it. They just kind of go through the motion. So I'm gonna do one last one with this guy, and then we're gonna move on to a driver. So this is my baby. TZ5, this is the big thing for me. Shaft stays the same. Head changes every once in a while. We've been doing some testing with a couple other Titleist heads, so I'm gonna hit a different one today. I'm gonna hit the 2. But with driver, there's a couple things that I think about just setup wise. Like with wedges, I like to get my weight forwards, handle forwards. With irons, I also like to feel my handle forwards, but weight's not far as forwards. And then with driver, for me, that I've really found success with is kind of walking into the shot, not really taking a full practice swing. I kind of just move the driver around, feel it in my hands, and then set up. And I like to set up with a pretty big intentional tilt here. So I like to get behind it. For me, it's just, I hit the driver the straightest when I do that. When I monkey around with doing this and getting my low point more forwards, I struggle. So I just know what I am. I know that I hit up on it a lot. I know it can get flippy, but I try and avoid that. So anyways, let's set up here, hit one. Try and hit a little cut here. So I hit that off the toe, but it should be okay. Yeah, so there's the toe draw, which I'll take because I know exactly what I did. just a little too far from it. But realistically, I'd take that. Obviously, in theory, it's a double cross. So I tried to hit a cut. I hit a bit of a draw. I towed it, so I'm going to be okay with that because it's not going to curve a lot, and I should be all right. So anyways, let me hit one more here. That felt pretty solid. Whoa, got a misread. Path was 0, face was 2.6 degrees open. The ball does not curve 195 yards out of the center of the face. But that's just what you deal with. Technology, it's gonna make mistakes every once in a while. So we're gonna ignore that. It's a nice thing about having your own TrackMan is I can go, I know that wasn't real, so it's not gonna affect what I do next. I'll try one more here and show you, and bring a little bit more speed here. That was really solid. So if that goes 195 feet, right? Okay, so that's interesting. So it's misreading that. So very interesting. So I'm actually going to just quickly hit another driver here because those felt way better than that. Let me just hit one other one here. Again, face path was a little bit left there. Face was 2.8 degrees open. Again, that ball does not curve 166 feet, but something's happening there. There we go. Interesting. So I have a feeling that TrackMan is misreading that a little bit, just with these heads right now. So I'm not sure why that's happening, but again, during my range session, that's not gonna be something that's gonna really affect me or bother me. I just wanna make sure that it is correct, and if that's really what I'm doing, then great, I'd like to make an adjustment, but I know a little bit too much to know that that's actually not what's happening. So not gonna be too worried about it, and this is now when I'd probably go chip a few more times and then hit some putts, right? Hit some putts, do my drills with putting. I'll show you guys that too when we get on Quintic and we get on the putting table, but basically that's how I warm up. And we'll do a few more of these because there's obviously gonna be things that I'm thinking about, that I'm working on. But I think for now, let's finalize there with a driver that I can't hit on the planet, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you.